Nga Charlie Smith, Zhong Bianji, Georgia Strait. I'm the editor of the Georgia Strait, a weekly newspaper in Vancouver. And I'm back for another week of our WOW TV report. And this week in the news, one of the bigger stories was Justin Trudeau was in Vancouver, and he's been traveling throughout BC, the Liberal Party leader. And what he was discussing was actually marijuana, which is the subject of our cover story. And on the day that that cover story came out, he was in Vancouver saying that he supports legalization of possession of marijuana, and he thinks the best idea is to tax and regulate marijuana in the same way that we tax and regulate alcohol and tobacco. And that can generate a lot of money for the government through taxation. And this is an idea that's being advanced by a group of public health experts, former law enforcement people, and prosecutors. They're in a group called LEAP, which is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And some of them are involved in a group called Stop the Violence BC, which has been advocating for a study to look at regulating and taxing marijuana use for personal use. It comes at a time when medical marijuana dispensaries are facing a crackdown from the federal government. So Stephen Harper and the Conservatives want to shut down the storefront medical marijuana operations and are increasing penalties for people convicted of growing marijuana and not allowing people who use medical marijuana to grow their own marijuana. That's going to take effect on April 1st of next year. So Justin Trudeau has come out and said that no, he has a different point of view. He favors legalization. It's interesting because before Justin Trudeau ran for the Liberal Party leadership, he did not favor legalization, but one of the other candidates did, which was Joyce Murray, who's the Member of Parliament for Vancouver Quadra. So Joyce Murray, she lost the race for Liberal leadership, but it looks like her idea, which is to legalize marijuana, has triumphed, and now the leader, Justin Trudeau, has adopted this. The young Liberals have often been supporters of legalizing marijuana, and it's quite intriguing because I interviewed Dana Larson, who's a New Democrat and one of the leaders in the medical marijuana field, and he told me that when he goes to these conferences and events, he often sees young Liberals, but he rarely sees New Democrats. So the New Democrats have generally been a little less keen to take this issue on, and the leader of the federal New Democrats, Thomas Mulcair, actually was raising concerns about the potency of marijuana these days and saying it's a lot stronger than it was when he was younger, and that was why he had some concerns about whether we should go down this path of legalization. But it does seem that the momentum is building for legalizing marijuana, and I think Justin Trudeau's comments reflect that. Another big story in Vancouver this week, the biggest story of all, seemed to be bicycles. Every time you turned around, there was another story about bicycles in the news. One of the major ones is a proposal for kind of changing the traffic patterns on the west side of Vancouver in the Point Grey area to accommodate more bicycle traffic. So the city of Vancouver has been holding meetings. There's almost 200 people who've signed up to speak to the city council to offer their views. And one of the proposals is to turn Point Grey Road into a one-way road and divert the traffic onto other streets. The people living on the other streets have a problem with this proposal, which is largely supported by the cycling community. And another aspect of it would be to put a lot of bicycles going down York Avenue, which is a street one up from Kitsilano Beach. I've actually ridden a bicycle extensively in that area over the years, and I used to live not very far from Kitsilano Beach. And I always found the cycling was actually quite easy because you could go down, if you're commuting or you're going out to UBC, the best approach is actually to go along 8th Avenue and up the hill, because if you go closer to Jericho Beach, you've got a much worse hill going up past Spanish Banks to go to the university campus that way. Another thing is you could go along 3rd Avenue, which is a quiet street without very many stop signs, but the plan by the city, or the proposal, is to move it to York, which actually has numerous stop signs, and it would also divert bicycle traffic off of Kitts Beach. Currently, what you can do is you can ride along a bike path that goes along Kitts Beach, and then it emerges over kind of on the Vanier Park area, and then from there you have a choice to go up to Burrard Street over the Burrard Bridge, kind of up to Cornwall, or you could carry on below the bridge and end up at Granville Island. So the city's doing that with the bicycle routes. The other thing the city was doing with bicycling was they've got this bike share program. So they approved staff proceeding to work out a deal with a Portland-based company which would put bikes all over the city, and then you would pay on an hourly basis or on a monthly basis, and then you could use these kind of public bikes to travel short distances. This has encountered some resistance from people in the bicycle rental business, and that is often targeted at tourists because they feel that the city is working out a deal that is going to interrupt with their business. So one of the difficult aspects with this situation in Vancouver is in British Columbia, it's mandatory to wear a helmet when you ride a bicycle. So when they have these bike share programs in cities like Paris, there's no law that requires you to wear a helmet. But in this situation, there's also going to have to be stations where people can get helmets as well as the bicycle rentals.